Hello everyone, this is Ketisha. In this video, I'm going to go through the AQA Biology Paper 2 Higher Tier. Question number 8 is on the topic from inheritance, variation and evolution. Some people keep rabbits as pets. Figure 8 shows two types of rabbits. Himalayan rabbit has black patches. White rabbit has no black patches. The Himalayan fur pattern is controlled by a dominant allele. A heterozygous, which should mean there's two different combination of genes. Himalayan rabbit was crossed many times with each of two female Himalayan rabbits A and B. The results of the two types of the crosses were different. Crosses with female A, all of the 210 offsprings were Himalayan rabbits. Crosses with female B, some of the 240 offspring were Himalayan rabbits and some were white rabbits. Okay. In question 8.1 and 8.2, use the following symbols to represent the alleles. H for the dominant Himalayan fur and lowercase h for recessive allele for white fur. So this heterozygous male male Himalayan rabbit should be capital H, lowercase h, because he's heterozygous. Now, this female A, because all the offsprings were Himalayan rabbits, should be capital H and capital H. And this female B, since some of them were Himalayan rabbits and some were white rabbits, should have capital H and lowercase h. Right, so let's have a look at the question. What is the genotype of female Himalayan rabbit? A. So rabbit A is capital H, capital H. Reason, since all the offsprings have at least one capital H gene, or you could say the reverse, since none of the offsprings have lowercase h. Determine the probability that one of the offspring from a cross with female Himalayan rabbit B will be white. So remember, the female Himalayan rabbit B is capital H, lowercase h, not B, lowercase h. H. Draw a Punnett square. Use the symbols capital H and lowercase h. Identify the phenotype of each offspring's genotype. So for 4 marks. Now there was a similar question in the 2024 exam paper as well, and they've repeated the same question. Main reason being students failed to get the full marks because they didn't do all of these things. So right, let's draw up the Punnett square first. So I say here is the, on top is the male, on the side is the female. So the male is heterozygous, so it will be capital H and lowercase h. The female, remember it's female B, should be capital H, lowercase h. So this offspring will be capital H, capital H, lowercase h, capital H, lowercase h, and lowercase h and h. So we've drawn the Punnett square. We've used the symbols capital H and lowercase h. Identify the phenotype of each of the offspring. So, and they're asking us to determine the probability. Let's not forget that as well. So 25% capital H, 50% capital H, lowercase h, 25% lowercase h and lowercase h. Now, these two are Himalayan rabbits. Now, this is a white rabbit. Probability of offspring being white will be 25%, or 1 in 4. Adult Himalayan rabbits have white fur over most of the body, black fur on the nose, ears, and feet. The black color is caused by the production of a substance called melanin. Figure 9 shows how melanin is made from another substance called tyrosine. Tyrosine is converted to other substances by the enzyme triosinase, which is then converted to melanin by another group of enzymes. White rabbits have one base change in the gene that codes for the enzyme triosinase. Explain how a change in one of the DNA, in one base in the DNA of the gene coding for triosinase, could stop the triosinase working. So remember, we're talking about an enzyme here. One base change, right? Now this is the first question I'm seeing after a long time, which relates to protein synthesis. So if I have a sequence of bases, right, let's say A, T, G, C, C, G, A, T, A, and let's say one of these bases changes, that G changes to a C. What is the effect of that? Now, this relates to the triplet code of bases, which links to the transfer RNA carrying a specific amino acids, right? So the transfer RNA has three bases that needs to be the opposite of each of these. So it should be T, A, and C. Now, if it has C instead here, then it would be T, A, and G, which would code for a totally different, if that's the amino acid that's carrying, and this is the amino acid that tRNA is carrying, then this changes, which changes the code for the amino acid, which change the shape of the enzyme, which means the active site will actually change. So let's write an answer for this. Change in one of the bases gives a different set of three bases. Now this is key to mention the three bases because it links to the tRNA, right? This codes for a different amino acid which would alter or change the shape of the enzyme's active site. So here we are talking about this enzyme thiosinase. So the substrate, which is thiosin, would no longer fit into the active site. For the first 4 weeks of life, Himalayan rabbits produce white fur over the whole body. The black furs, areas of fur start to develop after 4 weeks. In the first 4 weeks, young rabbits stay in the nest with their mother. A rabbit's body temperature is 39 degrees Celsius. The thiosinase in Himalayan rabbit is more active between 15 and 25 degrees, not active below 35 degrees. So the fur on the nose, ears and feet of Himalayan rabbits is white for the first 4 weeks of life. Explain what causes the fur to be white in the first 4 weeks of life. That's mainly because they're in the nest. The temperature inside the nest is greater than 25 degrees. Now, in the marking scheme, it actually says, okay, it's not 25, it's because here it says not active above 35 degrees Celsius, so it has to be 35. I thought I made a mistake here. So it's greater than 35 degrees Celsius because it's either when it's inside the mother before birth or because it's much closer to the mother's body. The temperature inside the nest is greater than 35 degrees Celsius. So thiosinase enzyme would be inactive. So it doesn't produce the black fur. From the age of 4 weeks, young rabbits move from the nest to the outside environment. Explain why a Himalayan rabbit develops black nose, ears and feet from the age of 4 weeks. Well, the outside environment is cooler The environment is cooler. The rabbits loses heat from their extremities which is the nose and ears and feet. So triosinize is more active at lower temperatures at these areas. Melanin is also produced in human skin. Melanin absorbs ultraviolet or UV radiation from sunlight and prevents the radiation reaching deep into the skin. UV radiation is a type of ionizing radiation. Explain the advantage of producing melanin in human skin when exposed to bright sunlight. Well, melanin stops UV radiation from causing mutations in skin cells which can lead to skin cancer. That brings us to the end of this question, and I will see you in question number 9. Thanks for watching.